Okay, there's a lot of information in chapter 5, and I don't want us to be experts at this just yet. I'd like you to be aware that almost all data sets have some bias problems, and that there are all sorts of ways that people deal with those. They look for outliers, they transform the data. Occasionally, I see people trim the data. But often, if we have a pretty robust sample, we go ahead with what we've got and do our analyses. As you read more and more literature, as you write your literature reviews, you'll come across a few of these where the data have been transformed or an outlier has been shown to be faulty and eliminated from the data. But otherwise, you'll move ahead with the data as it is. The thing that I wanted to show you, and I won't test you on this, you don't have to do this semester, but a very cool function is the compute function. And it's on page 204, 205, and 206 of Field's textbook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, do you remember this teacher stress data? And basically in here, we have all of these things that lead to stress, change, workload, scores, budgets. All of these things are stressful for teachers, and I'm sure you can relate to this. Well, I would like to create, by coming in here to transform and compute a variable, I would like to create a construct, and I'm just going to call it stress. It's the overall stress when I combine all these things together and look at them as a whole. How stressed are these different teachers feeling? And so this is what my stress variable is going to be. And there are lots of different ways of doing this. For example, I could just take the, right down here, I could look under statistical, I could take the mean. Or I can do it very carefully on my own. I've got my parentheses. I'm going to put change and then plus. Whoops, I just put times in there. I think I need a magnifying glass. Okay, plus, I gotta get rid of this times. That little star is times. Okay, change plus workload plus scores plus budgets plus relationships plus expectations. Sorry, this is a slow process. Plus student conflict. You might be able to do it a little more quickly with the mean, although you need to add all of these in. Now, I'm going to think about this. Should I add other? Because we don't know exactly what other is, but these other things, however our respondents chose to define them, add to the stress. So I'm going to add other. Now, if you remember, when you look at our spreadsheet, not everyone put a response in for other, but that will not be a problem. That's one thing I love about SPSS. They'll just skip over those. Okay, so now I'm going to average by the number of variables I put in, 9. So I average by 9. You see I use just this little slash mark that means divide by. I'm going to hit OK. Ooh, let's hope it works. Okay, this is basically my viewer window, my output, and it's telling me it executed my command. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, here's stress. Okay, oh, and I guess it doesn't calculate stress for anyone who's missing any of those variables. So for example, anyone who's missing other didn't get an overall score. But everyone who added other along with their other scores has this score right here. And almost all of them are above 3, indicating some pretty high stress. Now, I may want to go back to that because I had forgotten since I added other, I've got a problem. Let me do this right here. I'm going to get rid of other. and I'm going to divide through by 8 so that I have a score for almost every teacher. Now it's going into the stress column, and so SPSS is saying, are you sure you want to change the existing variable? I say yes. And okay, it executed my command. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now I have scores for everyone except for this person right here because they didn't give me anything on scores. Okay, so these are my stress levels right here. That is now a construct. That's an overall view of all these different things that can add to stress. And that gives me a sense of where my teachers are. Here's a teacher with 1.5. This teacher's doing well, handling the stress or something. And then here I've got teachers. Here's a teacher at a 3.5. Things are stressful for this teacher. Sometimes it's just interesting. You can take this stress. We could make a histogram and get a sense. Is it normally distributed? Is it kind of skewed? Let's go down here. Let's pull up a histogram. Let's put stress on our axis. So this becomes a really nice variable. It's a whole new variable that was calculated from everything that I asked my respondents. Okay, here's my stress histogram. Oh, it's kind of left skewed. I have a couple who are just off there to the left feeling great about everything, and then the majority tend to be up here on the right. They're above average, or they're above this middle place where they don't strongly disagree or agree. They're closer to the agree side. So that's the thing in chapter 5 that I think is the coolest, and if you want to experiment with it, please do.